Hey everyone, welcome to Femme Fables. Megan here, and we're continuing our celebration of Pride Month, which is coming to a close. So our last story to close it out, Anthony has come on to tell us his coming out story and his journey. He is Nick's partner. Nick was the first one on. So thank you for rounding out Pride Month. We had a great time yesterday. We went to brunch and celebrated hard.
Very hard.
Very hard.
It was so much fun.
For Pride, so we had a lot of fun. But yeah, so kind of the same thing. Kind of tell us about growing up. Like what type of family you were in, where'd you grow up? What was that like?
Yeah, so I'm originally from Danvers, Massachusetts. It's like a little town, like 25 minutes out of Boston. Kind of regular family, mom, dad. I have two brothers. I'm the middle. You know, they played sports growing up. My dad kind of made me, and that made me hate them worse. I mean, I was decently good at them, but I was just like, you can't force,
You're like,
then
I'm
you'll
not
hate
into
it
this.
worse. But I knew I was always like kind of like a little different than them. But I didn't know I was gay until like maybe 7th grade. But in 4th grade, I started dance because my cousin was a cheerleader, and then her coach also taught dance. So I was like, let's take a class, and then it's kind of history from there with dance. But I mean, I always got made fun of for dancing. I had a high-pitched voice, so all the boys were like, you're gay, blah, blah, blah. And I always hung around with girls. So, I mean, I feel like that's just like the typical thing. I played with Barbie dolls as a little boy. So obviously my mom and dad were kind of
I had a follow-up question to that.
Yeah.
So 2 questions. So do you ever remember your dad being like, why are you playing with Barbies? Like, no, like you play sport. You know what I mean? Like, so was he like...
My mom was just like, let him do whatever he wants.
Yeah. Okay.
My dad never really questioned it. And I remember my mom told me a few years ago that they did question my sexuality when I was a kid. And, you know, they were like, if he is, who cares?
Yeah.
And that was when I was really young. So they kind of knew. But then growing up, I still danced. I still do. It's kind of what I really did. I did cross country just because I like to exercise and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I had a girlfriend in high school through a little bit of college. I had multiple girlfriends growing up. I mean, and I kind of hid because I kind of knew I liked men. Mm-hmm. And I realized in the 5th grade, I was at dance.
When. Okay.
We had to do handstands on the wall, and this boy's shirt came down, and I was like, oh, I kind of like that.
Ah, okay.
And I was like, I'm in 5th grade, this is weird. But then in 6th grade, like, no feelings for boys at all. I actually liked girls. And in 7th grade, I met this boy on my dance team, and we started to really like each other, like, at a young age. And, you know, we hooked up or whatever. We didn't know what we were doing. We're still friends to this day, but we both kind of knew, like, we liked each other and liked boys, but we just kept it a secret. I'm sure everybody knew because we hung out literally every day and, like, had sleepovers and, like, went everywhere together. So from then on, I was like, I definitely like boys, and we would always try to hide it, which obviously sucks because my town was, like, so sporty and, like, the boys were mean and, like, I don't know, it was just hard, and like my whole family it's very Italian, Catholic.
Catholic, right? Yeah.
You know, and obviously my mom had a plan for me. I had a girlfriend, so she thought I was gonna just stick with girls. I don't think she had any idea later on, which is why she was so shocked. But yeah, so that boy I just really liked for a long time, and then, you know, with girlfriends, like, it was just so much feelings that it was just kind of like too much to
You're
handle.
like, this is too much emotion.
Yes.
Well, that's funny because we asked Maureen when she was on which was harder to deal with, and she was like, females are harder to deal with.
Yeah, so
I don't, you know, I'm not going to disagree with that being female. We can be quite emotional.
yeah. But yeah, it was hard for me. I think some of my friends kind of knew growing up, but they never really said anything. And then when I got older in college, I started experimenting more with, you know, other guys. I still hooked up with some girls, but I was like, I'm definitely more into men. And then I told my girlfriend, I don't think we were together at that time, but we were still talking and whatnot. And, you know, she took it a little hard, but then she kind of knew already, so it was okay. But then I met this other boy at college, and we were dating secretly for like a year until we came out together on Instagram. And I was
how
actually,
you came out on Instagram? Like to your
to everybody.
Like that's how your parents, or were they even
No.
on Instagram?
So my mom is.
I was like,
she's not very good at Instagram. But I came home. This is how I came out to my family. So I already came out to my friends. They already knew. I just didn't post it yet on Instagram, but all my close friends and like people at my college knew. And so my mom owned a salon. She was waxing my eyebrows. I was home for winter break, and she was like, "So why aren't you with your girlfriend anymore?" And I was just like, "Oh, should I actually tell her why?" And I was like, "Well, I kissed a boy," and she was like, "What?" I was like, "Yeah, I think I'm bi," and I thought I was growing up. I was just really confused.
Yeah.
But I think that's just the easier way to go when you're telling your family, because they're like, oh, maybe he'll still date girls.
Right, yeah.
It's just the easiest.
Mm-hmm.
And I think she was just a little shocked because she was like obsessed with my girlfriend and they were really close. So I think she was just like taken back. And she was going through a lot, like financially, and she was very stressed out. So I think that was just like the icing on the cake for her. So, like, after that, like, that day, she was, like, kind of weird towards me, and I knew she was, like, nervous because she still had to work. So I went home, and then, you know, she came home at around, like, 9. She works, like, pretty late. And she was talking to me. She wasn't very happy, but I knew that she was just really stressed out. And, you know, she was, like, really upset. So, and then the next day I was going back to school. So, like, she kind of didn't really talk to me. She was just really upset. I think she was more upset because she didn't want people to make fun of me and because she knows how the world is.
I think a lot of parents are like that. They just don't want, I was talking to somebody about this, they don't want their children's lives to be any harder than it has to be.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And there is a level of, you're going to have somewhat of a harder time in life.
Yeah.
Not always, but in certain circumstances.
Right.
Yeah.
So the next day, like, she literally couldn't even get out of bed. Like, I was like, bye, Mom, I'm leaving. And, like, I kissed her. And then that was kind of it. Like, we didn't really speak for, like, a few months. I just think she was, like, overwhelmed with, like, her life.
Yeah.
I mean, I was even overwhelmed. And I didn't even live there because, like, financially, like, they were doing, like, really, really bad. And, like, the house was foreclosed. And...
Wow.
They had to get rid of my mom's salon that she had for like 30 years. But my dad still has his business, so that's good. But it was just like a reality check for me, like, okay, like you can have all this money and then kind of like it can change in an instant. And like I think my mom was just like super stressed, and we've talked about this like actually recently, like how like stressed she was, and it wasn't me, but I think she just took it out on me because I told her, and like I don't think she like understood it, and she didn't want to believe it maybe. But yeah, after a few months she texted me and she was like, I still love you, like if you don't want to talk to me anymore, like that's okay. And I was like, obviously I want to talk to you, like you're my mom and I love you. So literally after that day, like she was perfectly fine. I told her about Joe, my ex-boyfriend, and she was fine with it. We visited each other a lot. So he would like stay at my house, I would go to his house. His mom was kind of the same way. Like she was more standoffish with me because her other son is gay too, but I just think she wanted like Joe to be straight too. But I mean, whose parents don't? Because it's just hard.
Yeah.
So I mean, we kind of came out together, which was really good. So, and we're still decently like friends through Instagram and stuff like that, and we wish each other well. But so we came out on Instagram a few months after that. Actually, it was Tampa Pride. We posted a photo of each other kissing, and like millions of my friends commented and were like really happy for me. Like my family, like my dad's side, the Italian side. I mean, everyone saw, and no one said anything bad about me, nothing. So I think my mom just had to get used to it. She didn't tell my dad for a while. He doesn't have Instagram, he doesn't know. So she didn't tell him probably until that post, and he was like, who cares? Like, I love him no matter what. And then I think my mom felt better because she was scared to tell him.
Yeah.
But I mean, me and my mom are super close. If anyone talks about me, she'll literally drop kick you. So I know like she has my back, and you know she just wants me to be happy. And I think you know every story is different, and everyone's parents handle things differently, and especially when there's a lot going on in someone's life. You know, I mean, you know, I'm just happy that everything's good now.
How old were you? So how long ago did you come out?
So I think I was 20.
Okay. And you're 25 now?
I'm 25, yeah.
Okay.
So, because I remember my 21st birthday, like, I was posting gay stuff on my Instagram. So, yeah, I was around 20 when I came out to, like, the world. But to my friends, I think I was 19. Like, everyone pretty much knew I was, like, dating men and women, so.
So do you feel now you're, like, strictly into men, or do you find yourself, like, still finding women attractive, but you probably would not have any, like, desire to...
Yeah, I
be with
mean, I always think of my ex-girlfriend. I wish her well, and I'm always attracted to her and other women. I don't know necessarily if I could date one or be intimate with them, just because I've been with men for so long now, and I've been with Nick for almost 4 years. So I think, I don't know. I mean, I feel like it's the person for me, personally.
Right.
However, like, I'm so deep into the gay community and, like, all of that as well. Like, I think, like, and I feel like I have more of a connection with a male.
Yeah.
So, if that makes sense.
That does make sense, yeah.
Yeah, so it's going good. I'm just living my life with Nick right now. We met through Instagram. I know Nick already spoke about
You
this.
told me that, and I was like, how...
Yeah, weird, but...
How did that happen? I mean, I know that's very common these days, but
Yeah.
that's not... I told him, like, the men in my DMs are not date-worthy men.
Gotcha. I mean,
They're
a lot
usually
of
weird and creepy.
people slide into our DMs who aren't either. We're just like, why are you sending that picture to us? We didn't ask.
Really?
Yep.
And your
People
joint,
have
and
no
your joint
filter.
Instagram?
Our joint Instagram.
Oh, I bet. They probably send you
Or
all sorts.
our regular ones.
We went down your joint Instagram account the other day because we were showing somebody your nude underwater photos.
Oh, yeah. That was
Terry's like,
very
haven't you seen
interesting.
those? I was like, no, I haven't seen those. And when I looked,
We
I
had
was
to
like,
crop
oh.
our
I was,
private areas out.
Did you? I was looking at that photo.
Yeah, because they were obviously hanging there, but...
I was like, wouldn't they like
Yeah.
float? And she's like, they had to either have like, did they have them tucked? Like, I'm so
Yeah.
glad we're at. I'm so glad I'm trying
We
to
had to
figure it out.
practice and like... Because we were breathing and like laughing too. So, I mean, luckily the photographer got a few good clips of us. But yeah, I mean, it was... I felt like I was on America's Next Top Model with that shoot, but
It was really good.
really fun.
I'm gonna have to, in this video, I'll have to throw up that photo.
Yeah, we look like mermen and we're naked. So if you want to
It's
see
amazing.
my butt, go look at that.
She's like, no, they're naked. I was like, no, they're not naked. They're probably wearing some. She's like, Megan, they're naked. So I looked and I was like, oh yeah, they're naked.
Yeah,
For sure, naked. Good for you.
We
though.
had
You
other
guys can
ones
do
with
that.
Speedos on. And
Yeah.
I literally saw these and like, it was really weird. Like, I won a free photo shoot in Tulum with his ex-girlfriend, who's a photographer.
So is that who took those photos, or?
Yes, so some girl on Instagram, I won her contest, and she was like, let's do photos on the beach. So that we did 2 different shoots there. And then her ex-boyfriend does the underwater stuff, and I was like, I want to do that. So I inboxed him, and then it kind of just happened. So it was fun.
That's awesome. No, those
Yeah.
pictures are awesome. Yeah, I'll throw it up on this video so people can see it. Has your mom met Anthony?
You mean Nick?
I mean, Nick. Oh my God.
Yeah, she's met me. She, I can't. She gave birth to me. No, yeah. So they
yeah, has she met Nick?
Yeah, so I met Nick when I was getting my master's at U Tampa, around November, December-ish of
I know you had your master's.
2017. Yeah, I got my master's at UT. After my bachelor's, I just stayed an extra year to get it, and I was like, cool, I'm done. But yeah, when I graduated with my master's, they met. So he was at my graduation, and my mom flew down with my cousin Jana and her baby. And yeah, they hit it off, and it was like really fun. Like, they were just dancing together, and we went to the beach, and then he visited me, and they just are really close, and I'm really close with his mom too, so it works out.
Was that the first boyfriend that she's met, or?
No, so she met Joe.
Okay.
Like he would visit a lot in Boston because he was in New York, so we weren't too far. But yeah, I've only had 2 boyfriends, so.
Like
Yeah.
we're only 25,
Yeah.
so.
And like I said, she was obsessed with my girlfriend too. She liked all my significant others so
Yeah.
far. They're all Pisces, by the way, too. I guess I'm attracted to the Pisces sign, which is a polar opposite of me because I'm psycho. So.
Well, a Virgo. We're both Virgos.
Yes, Virgo.
My last Pisces experience was not pleasant.
Yeah, they're just very emotional, and that's okay. That's great, but I'm like total I will never cry type of person.
See, we talked about this because I am, but I think that's because my moon is Gemini and my Venus is Leo. So I love like a Leo, which is
Gotcha.
passionate and like
Yes.
feelings and all that stuff. But I think work-wise, I'm a Virgo, like analytical,
Me too, for
perfectionist, you know, everything's scheduled, like aligned. I like things where they are and organization and stuff like that. And I don't know if the guy I recently dated was emotional. I mean, basically ghosted me and then came back and then like ghosted me again and started dating somebody else. So maybe he's just psycho.
Maybe he's just crazy. I don't think that's called emotional.
Yeah.
I feel like Pisces get very attached and they like are very emotional, but.
Well, I think so. I think they do get attached, but I also think they live in a dream state. Like
A little bit.
So if you don't live up to that dream at some point, they're like, oh, like this perfect version of you I had in my mind is not there. Like,
Yeah.
let me go get attached to somebody. This is my own experience. So I
Yeah,
only
Nick's
had,
very different. Like he's like very. He's like not very dreamy. He's very like.
yeah, I wouldn't say that he is.
He's like, that's not reasonable type of guy. And I'm more of the dreamer type,
Yeah.
but I'm very like perfectionist.
Do you know your other placements?
No. I have that app, but I don't use it that much.
We just have to do it to get your chart, and then we can.
Yeah,
we'll have to
but-
see. I'm curious.
Yeah, I'm very like organized, don't annoy me type of person.
Has your dad met Nick?
Yes, so Nick comes to Boston all the time. My dad actually stayed with us last summer during quarantine because we were doing our kitchen over, and my dad did like all the backsplash because he does construction. So he flew down and
Nice.
so they're friendly. I mean, my dad's kind of a quiet, like lays on the couch,
Yeah.
like chill kind
Typical
of guy,
dad, like-
drinks a beer. But
Yeah.
I mean, he's hilarious. I think that's where I get my humor from. But yeah, he's very just chillaxing, and yeah, I mean, he likes Nick a lot. So
I mean, Nick's a likable guy.
yeah, and I really like
Super
Nick's
like
dad
that.
too. He looks just like Nick.
But see, I've never seen his dad. I've seen
Yeah.
his mom, of course, because he posts with her, but I've never
Yeah.
seen his dad.
He's tall, lengthy, very tan. He also does like
see
construction and
him.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's a good guy. He lives like down the street from us too. Him and his mom both live super close to us, so it's good.
Do you think, like, I wonder, you know how we were talking in the last episode how moms take it harder? I wonder,
Yes.
like, if part of it's like, well, I imagine my son getting married and having babies,
Exactly.
and that, like, dream is now, which you could still have children if that's something you guys
Right.
want to do, right? But, would you have children?
I definitely do want children. I would love a mini me. I mean, I just think it's so expensive. Like, if
Yeah.
I wanted to have a surrogate or
Right.
do whatever the other stuff is called, it's like hundreds of thousands of dollars for me to have a kid. It's like ridiculous, and even to adopt, it's crazy expensive. Like, I'm trying to like
No.
help a child, and you should give it to me for free because I
You're
want
like,
one, and I can give
They
them a
need,
good life.
yeah, they need a home and parents,
Yeah.
so just give me the baby.
Yeah, I mean, it would be so much easier for me to just have sex with a woman and be like, bada bing.
Yeah.
Obviously that's not doable.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, it's just so expensive. But Nick and I have talked about it, like in the future.
Yeah.
But yeah,
like
I
something
mean,
that
I
you
would
both
definitely
want.
would want one because my cats and dogs are already like children. So
Yes.
I feel like I'm good with kids. Like I teach dance like every day in my life
Mm-hmm.
and all that. So I feel like it'd be easy.
So
Or-
another question I asked Nick, and I'll ask you as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like, have you ever felt judged or mistreated or treated differently because you're a gay
Definitely.
male?
Of course. Like I said earlier, like I was bullied and whatever.
Did they
but
ever
like,
beat you up, or were they just like mental bully?
oh
like,
yeah, but
taunting
I
you?
would give it back. I
Or you
would
would
say
fight, yeah.
mean shit back because
Good for
like
you.
I wasn't gonna take their stuff. I mean, I would get really insecure when they'd be like, you're gay. And I'd be like, no, I'm not. Like, and like I would just bicker with a lot of people. No really girls ever said it, mostly just stupid guys that kind of were, I don't know if they were jealous because I always hung around with girls and had girlfriends, but I don't know. I just remember fighting with people down the hallway in class. People would write stuff on my Facebook page.
What?
People would write stuff on my MySpace. I mean, one time my friend Olivia, we were like downtown Danvers, like hanging out, and these boys in the grade below me were like, "You're gay," blah blah blah, and like she literally took them and started slapping the shit out of them, and we still talk about it to this day. And like I was like, "Thank you," because like I've never gotten into physical altercation.
Yeah.
But like I've definitely had words with a lot of people, and just because like mind your business, leave me alone. Like
what does it matter?
I'm so nice to everyone.
Right.
Like me and my brother had a lot of friends, and like we were close with so many people, and like and just like leave me alone. Like live
what does
your
it
life.
matter? Yeah.
Right.
Well, that's people's, and it's their insecurities and fear of what they don't know, and
right.
you know, I don't understand why. I feel that men are a lot more susceptible to being like, oh, that's gross, that's weird. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, but I think that's within them. Like, that's just their insecurity, like that they carry. Like,
I don't know.
It doesn't threaten you in any way.
Feel like
they feel threatened.
Right. I think it's just like so normal to just bully someone because they think they're gay, and like honestly, like I took it hard sometimes, and I was like, oh, and that's what would make me fight it. And I was like, I can't be like. When I was a kid, I was not told it was wrong, but I thought it was a bad thing to be gay. So I was like, I'm never gonna be that. And like I always like drew rainbows and stuff, and my cousin would be like, "Why are you drawing those?" And I'm like, "I like rainbows," but I don't think.
You're like, I like all the
but
colors.
I didn't know what it meant.
Yeah.
But I always, they threw the gay word around, like that's so gay, like fag, blah blah blah. So I thought it was just bad. So growing up knowing that I kind of was like kind of scary.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Do you feel though, like, have you and Nick ever gotten judged, like being out or whatever? Like, I know Nick told me he hasn't felt maybe directly, but he's thought maybe like, okay, are we being treated this way because we're two gay males, like out, like,
right.
But I mean, it's definitely a much different atmosphere now.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever, like, even in college when I wasn't out yet, some girl like liked me or whatever, and then her friend was like, he's gay, and I was like, I got so like upset, and I was like, no, I'm not. Like, I didn't know what to say because, like, I obviously knew, but, like, just random stuff happened, but, like, nothing, like... But on Instagram, we get hateful comments on our joint page, like...
Didn't you guys post something on your story?
Yes.
Please tell that, because I was a little tipsy from Pride Brunch, but I had to, like, look at it twice because I had to read the guy's full...
Yeah. People will never say this in person because they don't have the balls, but they'll... over a screen, they have a lot more confidence.
For sure.
So, I mean, we'll always get, like, gross, like, and they'll do, like, the throwing up emoji, or, like, if something in St. Pete or somewhere posts us, like, there's always that one male or, like, female religious person that's, like, AIDS spreaders. They say mean stuff, and, like, there'll be a million comments of, like, people fighting them, and we don't do anything, because, like, we're not gonna, like, feed into it. Because who cares? But, like... Yesterday, St. Pete, the pier, posted us again of us kissing at the pier, and some guy was like, don't ever post this shit. If you ever post this shit again, I'm never gonna go. And I was like, then don't go. Like this is 2021. Like, this is reality. I didn't choose this life. Like, I was born this way, literally. So, like, if you don't want to see this stuff, why are you following me? Like, it's really weird. And it's funny because the people who made fun of me in middle school and high school, like, follow me and, like my stuff and add me on Facebook. So I'm just like, oh, like, you're cool now? Like, now that, like,
you guys get you guys get a lot of attention, like, around, like, I was joking with Nick yesterday. I was like, I feel like I'm with a local celebrity, like, but...
Yeah, it's just, like, funny how people are just like, oh, like, I want to be friends with them now after, like, tormenting me all my life. Like, you know what I mean? But I'm sure Nick has stories too where they made fun of him. I mean, I think it's just normal. But in college, I really didn't get made fun of, but people would ask. Mm-hmm. And that would still, like, offend me because I was like, damn, like, do I need to make my voice deeper? Like, what do I have to do? So, I mean, but now I'm just like, I don't care. Like, everyone knows. So if you don't, sometimes they don't know, and I'm like, yeah, I have a boyfriend, and same with Nick, because I wouldn't say like you would know right off the bat, but some people do. Like everyone's, perception is different. So sometimes I have to explain it, sometimes I don't.
Yeah, I told Nick, I remember when I first saw you in the office, and I was like, I leaned out of my cubicle, I was like, who is that? And then I saw you start talking to Nick, and I kind of watched your interaction, I was like, I think that's his boyfriend.
Yes. Yeah, some people at ASI, whatever, I worked there.
I don't say anything bad about him.
Yeah, no. I had a great time there. I learned so much, and I met like amazing people. Hello. But at work, I felt like very accepted, and no one ever said anything. Like a lot of people there are gay.
I will say, like where we work, I do feel there's always room for improvement, but
the culture's great.
The culture is great, and
there's always those few people that go against the culture.
Right.
But personally, I've never felt any victimization.
Right. I mean, they've always participated in Pride festivals. Like I think I just saw they posted on IG Flow, like had a rainbow.
Yeah.
Apron on.
They would ask me and Nick,
Yeah.
sometimes just me to like hold a pride flag, and
Yeah.
they would post it all over the progressive stuff,
Yeah.
and I thought that was really cool. And
Yeah.
they would always do those like pride events, and they had the social club. So I mean, it was great there, really.
Yeah, they're supportive for sure. So, what advice would you give someone who is not out and wants to come out, or thinking about coming out, or afraid to come out because of being judged?
Like, if you're listening to this podcast, definitely like if you are being bullied, like, you know your worth and you know yourself, and like, just take it with a grain of salt, and make those words make you stronger. Honestly, like I've built up such like confidence. I was like, what's the word? Just against like haters and all of that. So I would just say, when you're ready, and just go ahead, tell your friends. I personally came out to my friends first because it was just the easier route. Like they're my age, they understand kind of what's going on in the world. They kind of know me. So I came out to them first to kind of break the ice and see how it went. I would obviously talk to my closer friends and talk about like how I should do it, like, how do I tell my parents, and if they don't accept it at first, just know like they love you and they care. Maybe they're really shocked. They don't want you to, be hurt. So, and that's very normal. And, it could take a few weeks. It could take months. I advise you guys to watch Love, Victor if you haven't, or Love, Simon. I think those are great, like, high school movies to watch to kind of see. I mean, yeah, it's like a movie and a TV show, but honestly, it's like such a good way to just kind of see how it goes. Like, so is
that what it's about? Like,
yeah,
I never heard or watched either.
They're so good.
Really?
Yeah, so Love, Simon's a movie, but he's gay in high school, and
I've heard of that.
He comes out, and some people bully him, and he comes out to his parents. So it's good to see that in their reactions. And then there's a spin-off, Love, Victor, which is like a series, and like he's at the same high school as that kid, and everyone knows about Simon, that he came out and blah blah blah, but he's like texting him, asking him advice, like how do I come out. His family was Catholic. His mom took it really hard. His dad did not. Like, it's just
sounds
a
similar.
trend.
Yeah.
But then she comes around, and you get to see like she quits her church because the priest was like, he's going to hell, blah blah blah, telling his little brother this, and I'm just like, that is crazy. But I still go to church.
Yeah.
I got confirmed. I did my communion, all that. We go to Nick's church. The priest is amazing. He says you're always welcome. So, I still go to church when I'm home whenever I can, like for Easter or whatever like that. So it's good that I'm still welcome there. So.
Last thing, because we talked about this, and I think it's something important to touch on, is we talked with Maureen about educating people, and sometimes people's silly comments are based on a lack of education.
Right.
So have you ever been in a spot where, because we talked about it's easy to react and be like, that was the dumbest thing I've ever heard, versus like, hey, like, that may not be appropriate to say because of this,
Right.
Have you ever found yourself in that situation?
Honestly, like in the previous video, if you guys watched, I'm still like being educated myself on certain things, just about the history and the community. There's so many like Netflix documentaries or like Hulu or Apple TV that are like so good, like you guys need to watch them. But I've come across a few instances where, like, at the office, someone was like, trans and gay are the same thing, right? And he's like, so you're trans? I'm like, I kind of laughed because I was like,
because you're like, that's not serious.
I was like, no, well, I'm gay, so that means I like men, but trans is when you're in the wrong body and you want to be the other gender, and you identify, say if you're a woman, you want to identify as male, so it's different. So I just think, you know, taking it with a grain of salt, just explaining it to people, like understanding, like, people don't know who aren't in the LGBT plus community, or straight, or whatever they may be or identify as, and they don't know. You know, just explain to them and understand, like, they're not being rude. Unless they really are being rude, then you can just say, kiss my ass.
Right. Well, no. Yeah. If
which I have done.
Right. Yeah. Well, that guy, like, if you show this shit again, I'm never going to that place. I'm like, that is intense.
Then don't
First
come.
of all,
I
it's
don't
a
care.
public location.
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
guess what? Gay
get
people
over
are
it.
going to go there. Like, what
We're
what
people
is
too.
happening right
We're
now?
people. It's just like crazy. Like, when I came
I
out,
should have went and commented on that. I'm like, did you delete that comment? Or is it still there?
I did not. It was on St. Pete Pier, so I don't
okay.
have, like.
Okay.
But what was I gonna say now? I don't remember. But when I came out, people were like, you know, thought I was changing. But I was like, I'm still me. I'm always going to be the same person. I'm just coming out and letting you know of my sexual preference because I was born this way and I've known since I was a kid. I didn't choose to be in love with men or be attracted to men. This is just literally how my brain works. I did like a study on it in college, and like there's certain like neurotransmitters and all this stuff that people studied of why people come out gay. But I think it's just the genes from your parents. So if it's anyone's fault, it's your parents.
Your problem, mom and dad.
Yeah.
When I still hear people say, well, they choose it. And I was like, I don't choose to like men. I just know that I do.
Right.
It wasn't something that I was like, you know what, today I'm going to like men instead of women. I just am attracted to men.
Right. I
And
mean,
that's
it's
who I
not a choice.
physically
I
wanna
mean,
be with.
unless you like physically like want to try it for fun,
Yeah,
that could be a
which,
choice. And like maybe, you know, if you're influenced by your friend that is, and be like, oh, like I've heard good things about it, like let me try. But that doesn't mean like you are gay. You just want to try it. I mean, there's so many. It's a spectrum.
It is a spectrum,
just like
yeah.
everything else. So you could be like 10% gay, 100, like 90% straight. Like it's so different on what you're attracted to. And you know who you fall in love with. Like I said, for me, it's more about the person. But then again, for others, it's like for Nick, he's 100% gay. He said so. It's me and him are very different in that aspect.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else you'd like to add before we wrap it up?
Well, I just want to thank you for allowing me to share my story. If you guys need any advice, you can totally follow me on Anthony Nicolo or our joint account, Nick and Anthony. You can always talk to me whenever. I'd love to follow you and just kind of see Nick and I's journey. I will be departing.
I know.
I just got casted on a Disney cruise to dance.
Yay! That's awesome.
So I'm leaving next week for 6 months. So Nick and I won't be physically together, but we'll still try to post and like answer anyone who needs help and I'm gonna miss all of you guys so much. So, but yeah.
I will put your Instagram handles on the YouTube description
Perfect,
too, so they can follow you.
Perfect.
Yes, thank you so much. I will keep Nick company because I'm gonna have him come on and do this with me
Yes,
while you're
I
gone.
would love to see more podcasts. I love Nick's. I thought it was like really cool to watch.
No, I know he loves it. He's like, I could talk about anything every day. Let's do this all the time. So
yeah, I think this is such a great thing you're doing. And yeah, if you guys, like I said, need advice, please inbox me. I'd love to talk to you guys.
Well, thank you guys. Thank you, Anthony, for coming on, and good luck on the Disney cruise and dancing.
Thank
I know it'll be
you.
an awesome time. So if you are watching on YouTube, make sure to like, subscribe, and comment. And if you're listening on the podcast, thank you as always, and we will see you guys on the next one. Bye.
Bye.
Happy Pride.